When you think of games with die-hard fan bases that you are not allowed to criticize, what game comes to mind? Some of you might say Dark Souls, maybe Legend of Zelda. I say Fallout. All of Fallout, and especially Fallout New Vegas, are leftist psyop tier propaganda machines. This may come as quite a shock to some of you because of how popular the games are. But trust me when I say this, I have evidence. The people that made the games, I know what they believe in and what they were trying to push with them and where they were trying to push those things, and I'm going to run through those points today in a minute. First, I'd like to go into the things that are, well, easy to spot, I guess. Frankly, if you look at the game, the concept is completely un-American. The games make sorry attempts at trying to parody corporations. Corporations which are line the very fabric that the United States is built on. You wouldn't have a country if it weren't for corporations. In fact, if it weren't for corporations, you'd probably be living on a rock or something. That's not to say that all corporations are good for us, of course they're not. But what I'm saying is a majority of the aspects surrounding the existence of corporations in our country are good. I also think it's fair to add that billionaires are people too. Just because their bank account has a couple more zeros than you doesn't make them a completely different being or you a different being. You're still human. The only difference is they worked a little harder when they were young. Now, one of the main companies in Fallout, Vault Tech, are depicted as pretty much entirely evil. Their vaults had wicked experiments being taken out on the vault dwellers. They're depicted as greedy through the terminals that you read that sometimes they say like, oh, we're going to lower your wage because of something, you know, that type of thing. Other times they'll outright have an NPC just speak up against corporatism. Yeah, totally not some SJW psyop leftist game. Nope, totally normal. Another leftist aspect of Fallout New Vegas is how Mr. House is depicted. Experts say you can separate political beliefs into 4 quadrants. Mr. House seems to be the libertarian one. They push this thing with him by making him greedy and making him kind of an asshole, where they try to frame libertarians as just assholes when in reality they're not. They're pretty neat people, and I even am one a little bit. It's also another shameless attempt at painting CEOs as in a bad light, like I mentioned before. CEOs are people too. Now some of you must be like, oh, well, you just came to those points out of preference. One of the guys that made the game attended a Marxist podcast recently. Yeah, publicly. Hey, Fallout fans, wake up. Your shit is communist propaganda. Stop supporting it. Not to mention, the outfits of the game are also pretty bad. So, there's 2 factions going to war, right? Yeah, definitely a war when one faction is wearing baseball gear and the other faction is wearing desert trousers and a jacket. No military coats, no body armor, no holsters, no nothing. It's just shirt and pants. Unrealistic. Now, we've looked at Fallout New Vegas and the aspects of it that are pretty SJW commie, but what does this mean now that we have a game in the limelight still that is pretty openly communist and evil? Frankly, it would be easy to do something like we did with Battlefield 4 when they pulled the SJW shit. Just completely ignore the game, it'll die off easy first few months of coming out, and then no one will fucking remember it. Supposedly Fallout New Vegas 2 is coming out, so if you just ignored the news and acted like you weren't interested, then they lose. You beat the communists. Other commie games like Minecraft and Overwatch basically felt the same effect. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little bite-sized video. I'll be dropping more content over the next few weeks. And yeah, you guys stay classy.